Public announcements, please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you disagree with this commission's decision on any of the items on the agenda, you have the right to appeal it to the council. There are appeal cards to the right over here on the railing. Speaker cards, if you wish to speak on any item, you need to complete a speaker card and turn it into staff, and they'll get it up here to me. Public speaking, 10 minutes each side, 5 minutes for rebuttal. After your case is heard, please exit the building. Please rise for the invocation by Commissioner Randolph and the pledge by Commissioner Willie.
Gracious Father, we want to take out this time right now to say thank you, Lord, for all the blessings you bestowed in our lives. We thank you for your grace and mercy that we experienced this entire day. We thank you for this moment in time, Lord. We thank you for our commission that's here tonight, Lord. We thank you for the citizens that we represent that's in the audience and those outside. And Lord, we thank you for our staff of employees that work so diligently every day. Continue to lead our governmental and other leaders in a mighty way. And Lord, we ask that you also be with Carlos and his wife in these times, and anybody else that stand in the need of your healing power. It's in your holy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In the commission's package, you had 2 sets of minutes, and I would think that we need 2 different motions on this so that it gets recorded properly. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve
The
October 12th.
How about the September 14th?
Oh, is that the one? Okay, it was moved, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, September 14th. We heard on October 12th, right?
Yeah, I believe so. All right, Commissioner Crawford.
Second that motion.
All right, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And I need a motion and a second on the October 12th. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Crawford.
Second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Crawford. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Request for postponement. Helen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On the second page here, under preliminary 2021-2568 PP, Bonterra subdivision, request to postpone. And also on the third page, on the final subdivision review, 2021-2595 FP, we also have a request to postpone, and Mr. Shane is here to address any questions the commission may have.
Okay. Let me read these into the record and see if anybody wishes to have any comments. Item 7, which is 2021-2568-PP, Bonterra subdivision, phases 2 and 3, developer owner Lynn Levy Land Company LLC, engineer surveyor J.V. Burks and Associates, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Michael Smith. General location, property is located on the east and west sides of North Military Road, Louisiana Highway 1090, north of U.S. Interstate 12, Slidell, Ward 8, District 9. Anyone in the audience have a problem with that being postponed? Seeing no one, Commissioner Seeger.
In regards to the preliminary subdivision review,
Yes.
2021-2568 PP, I move to postpone for 1 month.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Seeger to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Randolph.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion to postpone carries.
Thank you. All right, the other one was item 8, 2021-2595-FP, Mason Trace subdivision, developer owner of First Horizon Incorporated, engineers T. Baker Smith LLC, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Rocket Toledano, general location north side of Strain Road, east of Louisiana Highway 59, Mandible, Ward 4, District 5. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to postpone to the next meeting.
All right, motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to postpone to the next meeting. Commissioner Barcelona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. Please vote.
Motion to postpone carries.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll go back to the front of the agenda. So we have no entering the parish right-of-way servitudes, easement, or Tammany trace. We have no revocation review, but we do have minor subdivision review. The first item is 2021-2547-MSP, a minor subdivision of 11.65 acres into parcels A and B. Owner and representative is Sheila L. McKee. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the parcel is located at the end of Fusel Cemetery Road, northeast, north of Fusel Cemetery Road, Covington, Ward 2, District 6. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from an 11.65 acre parcel. The minor subdivision requests require a public hearing due to parcel A and B do not meet the minimum lot width of 300 feet required under the A1 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. And parcel A does not have Parish Road frontage, requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. You may recall that staff had concerned last month regarding the 60-foot access servitude of passage, and the survey was provided to us. We also did some research, and we're satisfied with the information that was submitted and also with our research. So our staff comments are just the 2 items that are here requesting for waiver from the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm the Sheila.
Pardon?
I'm Sheila.
Okay, all right. So what do you want to tell us?
Well, I'm just wanting to give the property to my niece, Donna, and her mother grew up there at this property.
Okay,
So I'm just praying that I'll get it passed.
all right. You were Sheila?
Yes.
Okay. You? Okay, David Phelps. You're wanting to speak against?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me see if there's anybody else in the audience that wants to speak for. Anyone? Okay, please come forward, and you are?
Hi, my name is Lynn Sharp. I'm actually a cousin to Sheila McKee. The property in question is parcels of the original Fusel family property, which my family is a part of. My mother owns property adjacent to Fusel Cemetery Road, and my sister and her husband also live on Fusel Cemetery Road. My mother is 82. My sister is a paraplegic and needs assistance 24 hours a day. My daughter, who Sheila wants to sell the 5 acres to build a home, which is her niece, is a nurse. So this has been in the works in the family for quite a while. We'd been planning this and have just gotten to the point of applying for the minor subdivision so that Sheila can parcel out the 5 acres for Donna to build a family home on. Donna has 3 children. For her to build a family home on, to live on family property, near family, that would benefit greatly from having Donna live there to help my mom, who's 82, and my sister, who is disabled. My grandparents are buried in the cemetery, Fussell Cemetery, which is adjacent to the property. If you look on the survey, you'll see our family cemetery is there. So this is just a means of giving 5 acres to a family member to build a home for herself and her children. So I ask that you consider that as you make your decision.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that is in favor of this wish to speak? Okay, we'll go to the against. David Phelps. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name's David Phelps. My wife and I, Deborah DePreto, who's in the audience, live at 82411 Fussell Cemetery Road Northeast. I'd just like to say, as we said last month, that the zoning rules are in place. That's one of the reasons why we came out here. These lots are not wide enough. They don't have the 300 feet width that is required. The standard for a waiver, as you all are aware, is undue hardship on the applicant, and there's been no showing, in our opinion, of undue hardship. This is the first we've heard of anything about aunts and nieces and such. Everybody on the road has filled out a card in opposition to this. So everyone who lives on Fussell Cemetery Road Northeast is united in opposition of splitting this lot. Nobody is in opposition that I know of Ms. Sheila finding a way to get what she wants. And I think all of us would be happy to sit down with her and talk about it, but that's never been presented to us. So I think we have no choice but to oppose this and then hopefully start conversations later down the road with her. So as we sit here today, though, we are all in opposition of this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Jim Matthews. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, Chairman and other committee members. Thank you for having us and allowing myself to speak again. As you may remember, I spoke last time. My name is Jim Matthews. I am the landowner of the 20 acres that is due north of the proposed Parcel A and Parcel B. There is a shared non-parish road to which I have servitude access, is the same road that will be used to access, I assume, the other parcels. I wanted to read this statement, of which I found quite interesting. The purpose of this hearing is to determine if the proposed agenda item meets all criteria for approval in accordance with the St. Tammany Parish subdivision records. This is what is typed on the speaker cards. This proposal clearly does not meet those requirements. The non-parish road that accesses my property, as well as Ms. Sheila's, is not designed to take on more vehicles. It is a dirt gravel road that requires a lot of dragging and leveling by heavy equipment every time it rains. The drainage of the properties goes through that road. It washes out. I don't see how we're going to add more vehicles to that is going to help that scenario. Who is going to maintain this road? There's no maintenance agreement, and there's no 60-foot access and width to that property. One single vehicle can get through there at a time. When we purchased the 20 acres of property, I guess approximately a year ago, we were told emphatically that we cannot subdivide our property, as we requested to subdivide the property so I could have my in-laws live on the property as well. We were told no. So why now are we going to make exceptions and grant waivers? There is no good reason as to why we are providing waivers for this property. Simply making exceptions to make exceptions is not why rules and laws are written. Within the last 12 months, as you heard Mr. David and his wife, they purchased a piece of property. My wife and I, we purchased a piece of property. And not months later, we are already having to go in front of you guys to try to sanctify that property, to keep the property the way it is that we purchased it. Prior to all this, why didn't Miss Sheila and her family wish to subdivide the land then? Why did all these years go by, nothing happened? Now 2 people that have no ties to this family come in, and now we're going to subdivide everything. It is unfortunate that a new landowner in this area and St. Tammany Parish is to be penalized and our dreams be diminished due to the gross history of this property and the properties adjacent, to which I'm now, unfortunately, becoming very privy to. This area is no longer family property. There's new people that live on this property. We purchased it. There are others that live out here, and they are being affected by old family ties or feuds or whatever it may be. Respectfully, I would ask that you all just think for a second. If you spent $500,000 on a piece of property for your family to live on with a dream of it being the way it is, and not a few months later someone comes in and says, we're going to subdivide it out and it's all going to be changed, I bet you would have a rebuttal or you would sit back and try to fight that. And that's all we're trying to do. This is not personal to Ms. Sheila. I hope there's no repercussions or anything against us. We're just people that put everything we had in a piece of property, and I can promise you if I knew all this was going to take place, I wouldn't have bought the property. Thank you.
Okay, we have another card on Christine Matthews.
Thank y'all. That was my husband, Jim Matthews. I'm not a professional speaker, so I'm probably going to read a little bit. I say everything here tonight with respect for all of you guys. I'd just like to point out, and I'm going to reiterate a few things, that when we did go under contract with buying this piece of property, I inquired certain things with the property zoning and department and about re-subdividing. The 2 requirements specifically written to me in an email format were the minimum of 5 acres and a minimum of 300 foot of frontage. My property had 1 strike. I was requesting less than the 5 acres. Ms. Sheila's property had 2 strikes. Parcels A and B do not meet the minimum width of 300 feet, and parcel A does not have parish road frontage. With that being said, my request was denied. If a rule should apply to me, then I feel that it should apply to Ms. Sheila in this specific situation as well. We as taxpayers depend on you elected officials to uphold the law and requirements of the land and zoning. I do understand people come before you and their requests get approved in certain situations. I just personally cannot understand how this could go through when you have so many cards not in favor of this from all of the residents that actually live on this road. Miss Sheila does not actually physically live on this road. The people here today that are not in favor of this and the cards that you have received of people that aren't here and people that have emailed in, we have to live on this road. She will not be directly affected. We will be directly affected. We moved to this property to have space, to live around as few people as possible, and to enjoy the tranquility of the area. All we are trying to do is prevent 2 properties rather than 1 property. At the end of the day, Miss Sheila still has 11.65 acres that she can do what she wants. She can put a house on there. It can be given to Donna in one parcel. Donna can put a house on there. We're just trying to prevent the less traffic as it doesn't meet the requirements. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else wish to speak against? All right, we'll go to rebuttal. Ms. Sheila, do you have any comments in rebuttal?
I have been on this property for 62 years, and I do not know why. I go up down that road, I go to the cemetery often to visit my mother and daddy's grave. So they can't tell me when I go up and down for Sale Cemetery Road, northeast. Unless they watching me when I go and leave my house and go down the road and visit my nephew and go to the cemetery. So I would just like, if it cannot be subdivided into a parcel A and B, then I'll give the whole 11.65 acres to Donna. And then further on down the road, we'll try to subdivide it again.
Okay, thank you. All right, the folks that are against, do you have a rebuttal? Do you wish to speak in rebuttal? Okay, I will close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
Yes, after our last meeting, I met with Councilperson Tanner at the property, and just to address a couple of things. The 60-foot right-of-way was donated by her. In other words, you wouldn't have access to your property if they didn't donate the 60 feet that goes back to y'all, to y'all's house. You have the land that's being cleared right now?
Correct.
Is that correct? That you crossed over a little pond dam?
Correct.
So if they hadn't, if her family, and she might have been the owner at the time, if she hadn't have given that right away, you couldn't have had access to that property.
Wouldn't have bought the property.
If you didn't have access, well, the other thing is you can't landlock people. So even if you own the property, somebody had to sell you or give you a right of way. That's a parish law. Another thing, I passed where the road ends and you take a right to go to the house and you take a left to go to your property. Right on the south side of that, I passed a FedEx truck, not a pickup truck size, a van size, side by side. So there is room for two cars to pass. I don't know who's maintaining it now, but if they put a house there, they're going to have to maintain the road that goes to their house. I assume that they're maintaining that road by the cemetery now.
Correct.
So that with the that being said, and I feel for you that you bought the property. It's a beautiful piece of property, and you're doing a lot of work, and it's going to be a pretty piece of property. In light of the staff's comments on the new survey that they have received, showing that that right-of-way is indeed there, and it is a public right-of-way that you're benefiting from, I move to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve. Commissioner Barcelona.
With the waiver.
With the waiver, okay, yes.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Nine yeas, one nay. Motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right. Next item is 2021-2571 MSP, a minor subdivision of 13.73 acres into parcels A and B-2. Owner and representative Blaine and Loretta Dubose. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Martha Casbon. General location, the parcel is located at the end of Garden Lane and on the north side of Treehouse Road, Folsom. Ward 3, District 3, staff.
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from a 12.111 acre parcel and a 1.619 acre parcel. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel A does not meet the minimum lot width of 300 feet required under the A1 suburban zoning district along a parish-maintained road and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. So the request shall be subject to the waiver and also items 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, thank you. Are the Dubos here? Come to the mic. Good evening.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you for having me. My name is Blaine Dubose, and I'm here with my wife. And what we're trying to do is, obviously, there are two parcels that we own now, and they're joined by one common boundary. And if you'll notice, the existing driveway, 3/4 of the entryway going into the 1.69 acres that has a cabin on it, is accessible through the 8.7 acres. So all we're trying to do is combine the two together for its future sales potential, and also to possibly will to our kids. We have 3 different kids and we have 3 different properties. Now we have 4 different properties, but we're trying to merge these two so that we have 3 altogether. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor on this item? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner McInnes.
Yes, I am familiar with this property and the Duboses, and this is part of the Little River Bluffs Bed and Breakfast Nature Resort place, and it's an asset to our community, what they've been doing out there, and I'd like to move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner McInnes to approve. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seeger. Any further discussion? Just got the waivers, Nell?
Wait,
There's no waivers.
There is.
There's a waiver.
There is one.
The 300 feet.
Okay. So it does have a waiver. Okay. All right. And Tom, you're second with the waivers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, next item is item 3, 2021-2585-MSP, a minor subdivision of partial D into parcels D1 and D2. Owner and representative is Chad and Kimberly Snyder. Partial Parish Council District Representative, Honorable James Davis. General location, parcel located on the east side of Morningstar Drive and on the west side of North Pontchartrain Drive, north of Rising Sun Drive, Lacombe, Ward 7, District 7. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from parcel D. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to the fact that parcel D was previously part of a minor subdivision approved in 2015, and the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi,
And you are?
Chad Schneider?
Ed Kimberly Schneider.
And that you better have.
That's it.
All right, go ahead.
So we're good.
We're just trying to subdivide. We purchased the property a few years ago, and we're looking to subdivide and sell a portion to my sister who plans to build a home. So I think it meets the requirements. We reached out to the parish to ask what the requirements were, and we did the survey, and I think we're good.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, anyone else in the audience wish to speak either for or against on this item? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
It looks like it meets all the requirements, so I'll make a motion to
Approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve. Commissioner Willie. Second by Commissioner Willie. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, item 4, case is 2021-2601-MSP, minor subdivision of lots 3C and 3D into lot 3C1. Owner and representative is George Joseph France. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Kirk Drum. General location, the parcel is located on the north side of Idlewild Pines Road, West Dixie Ranch Road, Slidell, Ward 9, District 11. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create one lot from lots 3C and 3D. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to lot 3C and 3D were previously part of a minor subdivision approved in 2018, and the request shall be subject to item number 1.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
How you doing, sir? My name's George France. I purchased this property a little over a year ago, and what I want to do is combine both lots together. My plans are to put 2 family residences on the property, and I just want to get rid of the tree buffer required in the middle of it and have access to both houses.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seeger. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Thank you.
All right. Re-subdivision review. Item 5 is 2021-2592-MRP, re-subdivision of Square 60 into lots 1 through 10 and an undeveloped lot for green space, Square 60, Tammany Hills. Owner and representative, the St. Tammany Humane Society, Scott Bernier. Surveyor is Lowe's Engineers. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable David Fitzgerald. General location of parcels located on the east side of 6th Street, on the north side of Webster Street, and on the south side of Harrison Avenue, Covington, Ward 3, District 2. Staff?
The owner is requesting to create 11 lots and also an undeveloped lot for green space. The public hearing is required considering that the proposal involves the creation or the adjustment of more than 5 lots. The request shall be subject to the 3 items listed here. And would like to bring to your attention in particular the proposal of having an undeveloped lot for green space. And maybe staff would like to add that it would be preferable to, although they may decide or you may decide to approve it as is and keep it as an undeveloped lot for green space, just to add a lot number to it in the event that, you know, the uses change and it's developed in the future. And would also like to have more information regarding the future maintenance of that particular green space area.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shane, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Honorable Commission. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, and I represent both the St. Tammany Humane Society, the current owner of this property, as well as Habitat for Humanity, the proposed purchaser of this property. You will remember that I was before you as a zoning commission just a few months ago, seeking a zoning change to A4A to facilitate a 60-plus foot wide lot development for this square. Nothing has changed. The zoning has been adopted by the council, and you may remember, but if not, I'd like to refresh your memory, that this particular square in Tammany Hills historically consisted of 42 30-foot wide lots. That's 21 lots, 30 feet, total of 630. And behind it, 21 lots, 30 feet wide, 630 feet. So using the contiguous lot rule, this square could have been developed into approximately 20 or 21 lots. I'm not exactly sure what the yield would have been, but they would have had to have been 60-foot lot as minimum. It was never Habitat's thought or intent to develop that many lots. And in fact, as you can see from the re-subdivision plat, I think it's interesting that they're developing really some very nice sized lots, approximately 65 feet in width, but wonderfully, in my view, 200 plus feet, 220 feet in depth. There are obviously 3 lots that will face to the rear along Webster, and of course 7 lots that will face 6th Street. So let me respond specifically to the staff comments. With regard to the request to add the signature line, we'll do so. We'll, of course, change Webster Avenue to Webster Street. But more importantly, let's talk about what on the current plat is an unnumbered lot. We will certainly be glad to number it as presumably Lot 11, but whatever nomenclature the staff would like us to. We will be happy to continue to designate it as undeveloped green space, and Habitat has agreed to be the caretaker or the entity that will provide continued perpetual maintenance, and we'll be glad to indicate that on the plat as well, if that's satisfactory. So at the end of the day, Habitat is excited. The St. Tammany Humane Society, now known as the North Shore Humane Society, they're excited as well because this is going to facilitate a nice transaction for both of these organizations, and Habitat will now have 10 lots in which it can build some new homes for people in our community. With those comments, we respectfully request that you grant re-subdivision as we have filed or requested, but subject to staff comments and the responses I've provided to those staff comments. Perhaps most materially, the fact that Habitat for Humanity will remain responsible for the maintenance of the new Lot 11 to be designated as undeveloped green space. If any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shane. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? All right, I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Mr. Shane. So Habitat will be the owner of that green space
Yes, sir.
in perpetuity or for
Yes.
forever?
Well,
Okay.
one of the thoughts, and I think it's still a possibility, is that we're going to speak to the parish about the possibility of donating that parcel to the parish, believing that it would assist in the widening of Dog Pound Road in the future. But if they take all of it or some of it, or if they take none of it, if it remains as green space titled in the name of Habitat, they'll be responsible for the maintenance.
Okay, one more question. 6th Street's going to be the access to those lots?
Yes, sir.
I noticed that 7th Street's not constructed. Will that ever be opened or anything where they can access those lots from that street?
Doubtful, because the parish detention pond is located on the east side of the 7th Street right-of-way. We would have no reason to open 7th Street because, of course, we will only have one home per lot. And again, our access points will be off of 6th Street. So I know we have no intention to open 7th.
Okay, move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I just ask a question regarding the maintenance of the green space? Will you have a recorded maintenance agreement, or you will just indicate something on the plat, or?
I'd like to just put on the plat that Habitat will maintain Lot 11 as undeveloped green space area.
Okay.
Unless it is donated or transferred to the parish.
I guess my concern, and maybe we can add some language, is once you clear all the lots, maybe we can look at, what is left on the property, making sure that maybe there's no damaged trees or trees that could
create a hazard and if necessary, to be able to clean those trees.
You're referring to Lot 11?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't intend to clear Lot 11 at all.
But in the event that there would be any trees that could cause any harm or could, be dead or necessary to be removed, maybe we could look into doing this ahead of
We'd be glad to look
time.
at that. We don't want anything that would be a liability or an eyesore.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. All right, we have a motion, Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Truxillo.
Yes, this is a question to the staff. Maintenance. I know maintenance is a subjective word, so is there a requirement, a minimum requirement for maintenance to keep on a vacant lot?
Well, as I just mentioned, in the event that, there's some dead trees or broken trees, that might not be the case right now, but if we have another hurricane or if anything happens and we get a complaint, then we'll reach out to Habitat for Humanity and we'll expect them to, handle the matter. If you have a tree that is half broken, then maybe it would have to be completely cut down. Or if we look at there's 2 pine trees remaining on the property, it's more of a hazard than, we'll look at how the best way to handle it.
No, I understand that. I understand that part of it.
Just like any other property in the parish, if it's not maintained, code enforcement could go out and notify the owner to cut the grass, do whatever. So there's enforcement of that type of activity. Anyway.
So the answer is there is a minimum. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Shane.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, though, that this isn't developing into something more than I intended. With all due respect, you approve subdivisions and re-subdivisions all day long that have green space on it, and you do not set maintenance requirements for that green space. So I don't want there to be some suggestion that this is going to be manicured green space. Our intent is literally to leave it wooded, but to the extent that parish ordinances would require us to take out a dead tree or do something else that's not only from a safety standpoint or perhaps from an aesthetic standpoint, we'll certainly be glad to do so. And we will make a notation on the plat in that regard.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, next item is 2021-2599-MRP, re-subdivision of Lot 2 and part of Lot 1 into lots 2A, 1A, 2B, 1B, and 2C, 2A, Square 182, Town of Mandeville. Owner representative is Ernest J. and Sandra Gillick III. Surveyor, Land Surveying LLC. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Maureen O'Brien. General location, the parcel is located on the east side of Foy Street and on the west side of Clausell Street, Mandeville, Ward 4, District 10. Staff?
The owner is requesting to create 3 lots. The public hearing is required considering that lots 2C1A and 2B1B do not meet the minimum lot width of 90 feet required under the A4 Single Family Residential Zoning District and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. The request shall be subject to the requested waiver and also item number 1.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing Mr. and Mrs. Ernest Gillette with regard to this request for re-subdivision. As you can see by looking at the plat, the Gillettes own property between Foy and Clausell Street, and they currently live in the home that is designated as Lot 2A, 1A. Their hope is to increase the size of the lot or parcel where their home is. You can see where the dashed line is so that it will be extended and also create 2 remainder lots, each of which are zoned A4. The only issue that we encountered was that obviously we do not have the 90-foot A4 minimum, but we have plenty of depth, plenty of area. We did an informal kind of survey of that area, and there are numerous lots that are less than 90 feet in width. In fact, some considerably less than 90 feet, meaning that these two 88-foot lots are very comparable to lot widths that you would find in the area. I might also add that at the suggestion of staff, which we appreciated, we made inquiry with environmental services and determined from them that confirmed that there is no central sewage in the area, but that these lots, the two 88-foot lots, would be available to put in individual mechanical treatment facilities on each lot. You actually technically have to get a waiver or an exemption in order to do so. Also, we did learn that community water is available across Foy for these lots, so presumably we will have a community water hookup at that location. So with those things in mind, we are in full accord with staff comments. Probably when we get into the discussion, one thing I would like staff to clarify, I'm not quite sure I understand the new numbers that they'd like us to use for each lot, but we can figure that out in a few minutes. So that is the substance, though, of our comments. We request re-subdivision, and if any of you have questions, I'll be glad to address them at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shane. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this? Seeing no one, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
This looks to be appropriate. The 88-foot lot size, I'm familiar with the area. It's definitely larger than some other lots out there, so make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford.
With the waivers.
With the waivers?
Yes. Thank you.
Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner McInnes.
Jeff, I was just curious where the driveway would be for the lot 2B, 1B, since it's near an intersection. Would it be?
That hasn't been determined, but I'm sure it will be a significant distance from the intersection. We don't have any plans to build homes there. I do think the lots will ultimately be sold, but we do not have a site plan.
Okay, thanks so much.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, item 7 was postponed. Item 8 was postponed, so we'll go to item 9, which is 2021-2596-FP. Chafuncta Club Estates Subdivision, Phase 3A, developer owner TCE Properties, LLC, engineer surveyors McLean Taylor Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located south of Pinecrest Drive, east of Louisiana Highway 21, south of U.S. Interstate 12, Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
Oh, yes. Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and the final inspection was made on October 27th, 2021. The inspections disclose that all of the asphalt roads are constructed and the roadside ditches are functioning. The following uncompleted items existed at the time of final inspection and will be completed before plats are signed. Number 1, the roadside shoulders need to be established where not complete. Number 2, add an approved culvert material list to the driveway culvert table. Informational items: should the Planning Commission approve the request for final approval, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 6,990 linear feet at $22 per linear foot, for a total of $153,780 for a period of 2 years. Staff recommends approval of the proposed final subdivision request, subject to the developer complying with all comments and no plats to be signed until all items are satisfactorily completed. Additionally, mandatory developmental fees are required as follows. Road impact fees at $1,077 per lot times 64 lots for a total of $68,928. And drainage impact fees at $1,114 per lot times 64 lots for a total of $71,296. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morone, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Paul Morone on behalf of TCE Properties. Very clean report from the staff. Just to update you on those two items, the culvert material list has been added to the driveway culvert table already. That's been provided to your staff. And the roadside shoulders, that work either commenced today or will commence shortly, and we'll have it done in very short order, in which case all the items will be taken care of. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of the commissioners might have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Morone. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? I'll close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Reyes.
Yeah, I was wondering if the developers are in here. Can one of them come forward? Don't be hiding back there.
Didn't work.
It's the time to come forward. Don't hide in the back.
I'm not really a developer. I'm just a board member at Defuncta.
Okay.
But I've been here before. I helped develop Phase 2 back in 2007. Actually, the young man, Brian Power, is my main helper. But do we have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Did you do any research that allowed you to build a subdivision with such nice sized lots in it?
Yes, we did.
And you think you can make money doing that, huh?
Only in our neighborhood.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for. Somebody coached you along the way.
No, I've been on the board, unfortunately, for 20 years, off and on. Been the president 3 times. Helped develop the last phase, 124 lots. So we knew what the potential was. Our green space was, Helen probably knows, 63% or something the last time. And, you know, our neighborhood was built in 1959.
Right.
And if you drive through there, you know, it's just big lots and green space. We own almost 1,200 acres of land.
The reason I ask is we very seldom, in my opinion, see a development that, in my opinion, looks as nice as this one with the nice lots on it. We never see a cleanup list that has nothing on it virtually. Very impressive job all the way around, in my opinion.
I will tell you, I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, you need to do some more projects.
When Ryan called me last day, he goes, "We only got 2 comments." I'm like, "What?" They didn't even get through the thing.
We should be that lucky to have people pay that much attention more often to all the details.
Well, our neighborhood cares about this. Community has for 65 years. You know, we want to do things right. We're not a developer. We make no money. We have 600 people that own this project. So when we went and borrowed $5 million twice, we've done this twice, gone to the bank and borrowed $5 million and then borrowed another 12 or 14 on top of that to develop this. It's because we love where we live. And financial motive is not our end game here. In fact, I'll be honest with you, we'll be back again. We shut down selling our lots about 2 weeks ago because we don't want to sell all of our lots. We want to sell enough to pay the bank off, and then we want to sit on the rest of the property.
Well, very nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Commissioner Fitzmark.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmark to approve. Commissioner Willie. Second by Commissioner Willie. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve with carries.
Thank you. We do appreciate the clean Bill on this and wish to see more of them, so.
I think that was directed at Paul.
All right. We have no old business, no new business. Do we have an adjournment?
So moved.
Move to adjourn. Thank you.